One of the most well-known rivalries in history is between dogs and cats. Most of the time, it is evident that they are attracted to one another just because they feel like it. But when these robbers kidnapped this girl, an unexpected duo banded together to preserve her life. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. This narrative took place in a small, isolated village in the heart of a thick forest quite a few years ago. Alice, who is 16 years old, was raised in this community by her mother and grandmother, who showered her with love and care. The tiny child lived with her mother, grandma, and her cat named Badger. The family has owned the ginger Moggy since he was a little kitten. When Badger was a little kitten, Alice's grandma had seen him curled up beneath a little store's awning, attempting to escape the rain. She had chosen to bring the cat home with her after developing sympathy for him. The ginger cat, who weighed around 18 pounds, has since guarded the house more skillfully than any guard dog could. When he was originally brought back to the house, he was a small little kitten, but that was before. Badger appeared incredibly menacing due to his stature. To keep the house tidy, he would chase away everything that didn't belong there and would capture mice all the time. Going into the forest for extended periods of time was one of Badger's favorite activities. Although his activities were unknown, Alice's grandma surmised that he was probably hunting because he frequently returned home contented and well-fed. Every summer, Alice's mother would leave her for a week at work, leaving Alice alone with the cat and her grandma. This was Alice's favorite time since she could play with Badger all she wanted, and the cat also appeared to enjoy spending time with the young lady. During the summer, as Alice was assisting her grandma in the kitchen, Badger entered the room accompanied by a little gray puppy. Turning to face her grandma, Alice questioned when she had acquired a dog. Her grandmother answered that she hadn't and that the cat that had brought it home from the wild was her favorite. The puppy must have gained the bravery to enter the home at last, according to the grandma, who had noticed it lurking around the edge of the woods. It transpired that one day, Badger had ventured into the forest as normal, but upon his return, he had a little gray package clutched in his jaws. The grandma didn't give it much attention at first, because the ginger Moggy frequently brought his prey home with him. However, the grandma was somewhat aback to see that the bundle of fur, which turned out to be a puppy, was alive when the cat released it. The dog initially raced to the forest's edge upon spotting the woman. But now that the dog was at last close, the grandma could examine it more closely and saw at once that it was, in fact, a wolf pup. The grandma had many questions in her brain. From whence had this cub come? Its mother was where? Why had Badger returned it to the home? Sadly, the cat was unable to respond to her and instead to contentedly sit next his new companion. The fact that Alice now had a new pet to play with made her very happy. Her grandma was originally apprehensive to let the small girl to approach the wolf, but she quickly realized that the cub acted in an incredibly kind manner, despite being a ferocious animal. Unlike the cat, who normally tried to frighten off any other animals, Badger showed the dog a great deal of love. But suddenly, the cat was bringing his prey back for the cub to eat, letting him suck milk from his dish and even caressing the cub's hair lovingly. Even when they slept, the two creatures snuggled up on the same bed. It appeared as though Badger had chosen to take on the role of the small wolf's mother. Alice's mother, meantime, had chosen to move her into a different home at the end of the summer after finding one. While Alice's mother prepared the house for their move, she informed Alice that she would be allowed to spend the remainder of the summer with her grandma. Alice was thrilled to be able to spend more time with the wolf cub, even though she was sorry to be leaving her grandma. The cub became visibly larger and stronger during the course of the summer. Alice found it tough to go from him after growing rather connected to him. Alice's grandma informed her on the day she was leaving for her new home that the little girl may come back in a month and they would spend a weekend together collecting mushrooms in the forest. The wolf and cat started chasing after the bus as Alice boarded it to go to her new home, and Alice's grandma started to cry. Before long, a month had passed, and Alice had to head back to the village for her weekend with her grandma. However, when she was getting ready to go, she discovered that this time the bus she normally used wouldn't be able to carry her all the way to her grandmother's hamlet. Alice chose to walk the remaining distance to the settlement after realizing she had no other choice. She began walking down the road after gathering her rucksack, which included all of her weekend outfits. Fortunately, the sun was shining and the temperature was pleasant, making the 2-hour stroll delightful. Alice enjoyed the beauty of the surrounding woodland as she strolled. She was thrilled with what she saw, even though she had never really taken the time to examine it thoroughly. She once noticed a strange-looking shrub on the side of the road. She walked over to look at it out of curiosity. Alice was strolling along the side of the road when a vehicle suddenly drove by. It would have definitely hit her if she had remained there. Alice observed the automobile had stopped and was reversing back towards her, and she thanked fate that she hadn't been on the road. The little girl initially believed that it may be someone from the community offering to give her a ride there. However, when the automobile got closer, she saw that there were 2 guys inside, and she had no idea who they were from the hamlet. Alice made the decision to try and bargain with the 2 men, even though she knew that her position wasn't good. She was by alone in the middle of a thick forest. They appeared inebriated, so it may work. Sadly, though, it didn't, and one of the guys dragged Alice into the rear seat of the vehicle. Alice froze. She was so scared. She was immobile. The men searched for a peaceful place to pull over for a few kilometers before Alice was dragged out of the automobile after it had stopped. She began to scream, but she was aware that it would be ineffective because no one could hear her. The young woman made sure to use her nails to give him a painful smack across the face as one of the males walked up to her. The man shoved her aside because he was so furious. Alice saw an opportunity to flee, so she immediately regained her balance and started to run. She heard one of her assailants cry out in agony behind her at this moment. Alice was startled when she turned to see what had occurred and discovered that the wolf pup to which she had been connected had grown into a mature wolf that was biting into one of the men's arms. At that point, Badger sprang atop the second man's back and emerged from the jungle. The man stumbled and fell due to the unexpected weight. Then the enraged cat started biting and scratching at his neck and face. Alice was ecstatic to see that her friends had managed to hear her scream for assistance and had come to her aid. The men hurried back to the car as quickly as they could after managing to pull the animals off of them, but the automobile would not start. Alice made sure to phone the police and report the incident, with the 2 assailants stuck in the car and facing the threat of an enraged wolf once more. After the 2 men were taken care of, the young woman went to her grandmother's place, where she and Badger and the wolf went mushroom picking for the whole weekend. How incredible is the tale? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.